Hey, welcome back to the New Bold Oola Life channel. I'm your host, David Newbold. Last week, Ransom and I covered the Oola Wheel, which ties together the 7 key areas of our life: field, faith, fitness, family, finance, friends, and fun. So, starting from this week, we're transitioning to talk about 7 blockers, which can keep us from improving in one of the key areas of life, as well as 7 accelerators, which we can use to overcome challenges in an area we're working to improve. Today, we're touching on the blocker of fear and the accelerator of passion. Let's get into it.
Let's get bold.
So, as mentioned, today I'm here with Ransom, and we're talking about fear and passion. So, Ransom, do you want to take away with fear?
Yeah, brother, I'll do that. Now, I don't know why I got this. Like, fear? I mean, like, seriously? No, but seriously here, like, people don't like to talk about a lot of times what we really need to. And I found as a coach that that's really important. So we're going to be talking about, Dave already introduced this, we're going to be talking about blockers and accelerators. Now, this is probably one of the most unique things that I found Oola does in the personal development world. They'll actually really discuss it and they put it together. Now, fear, there is a good kind of fear. I want to clear that up. People are like, fear, I don't have any. I remember in the 90s, there was this whole company that was talking about no fear. It was the company, it was hats, it was all this. Everybody was like, oh yeah, this is the coolest thing. But here's the thing about it. There are 2 fears that you are born with, and that is the fear of falling and loud sounds. So the beauty of it is, if you out there have any fears around doing anything, like when you decide to, seek new challenges and make bold choices, if those things come up, guess what? They're most likely learned or they've been demonstrated to you. So the beauty of that is, if they can be learned, then they can be unlearned. Now, there's a process to it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to quit fearing this thing. We have to address it and move through it. That's part of the process. That's part of what we do with Oola. Now, other healthy fears that we have, for example, like being bit by a dog. You might have had an experience get bit by a dog. So naturally, when the dog comes up and starts barking at you, the initial thing is you pull away from it. Maybe as a child, maybe a little older, teens. But hopefully, as we get adults, we move past our fears. We can realize not every situation is the same. I don't need to apply a fear here. Now, there are some healthy fears like that, but also too, like, I was an electrical contractor in the past, so I had a healthy fear of electricity. I mean, like, this stuff will roast you. It doesn't care. So you have to, address it. But then there are unfounded fears. And I have one. I have a really good story about this. I've got multiple really cool stories, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk about unfounded fear, but I'm going to talk about something. Now, I'm going to mention this word. And if you have a fear around it like I do, when I mention it, you're most likely going to cringe like I do. The word is clown. All I know is people are out there like, yeah. Who out there has fear of clowns, right? A lot of people. Now, one clown, think about it, if you have a little bit of apprehension on that. One clown, let's magnify that by 2, 3. Let's take that, and how would you feel when I say 1,000 clowns? I bet your meter up here, fear meter, anxiousness went up almost through the roof. Well, here's the story around that. So I at one time was renting a house in Lexington, Kentucky. It's like half of a house. The person I had upstairs was a woman who was originally from New York City. And so she was there, and all the Barnum and Bailey circuses that came through, she would collect all kinds of different stuff from them. Well, one day she said, you want to see something really neat? Little Mace, she's short. She's not much taller than, she was much taller than 4 feet, something like that. She's like, you want to see something neat? I'm like, cool. She's like, I walked in. She didn't warn me. I walk in, it's a clown room. All these eyes staring at you clowns. I mean, they're really cool in retrospect, but in the moment, I'm like, oh my goodness. And we're in there, and guys, there were 1,000 clowns. So I wasn't just pulling that number out. She told me, yeah, there's 1,000 clowns in this room. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I got out of there. So that's an unfounded fear, but I had a fear from childhood. Now, have I learned to get over that? Yeah, it's all good, but it was a process of understanding where it came from and how it started. And is this really a founded fear? Do I really need to fear clowns? No, but it was a process in time. But there's the thing about it. What really drove me to get over that is this accelerator that we talk about. And I, as a coach, feel like this is the best one to launch you into that. And David has a really good, well, not just a story, but actually how to apply this principle and actually make it work for you. David, would you share that, please?
Yeah, definitely. So I mentioned in our video on field how or a little bit about my story and how I did a winter workshop with my sister going through a lot of the Oola principles early on. And during that time, one of the focuses was really boiling down what your why is or what your passion is. And so, of course, I love Japanese culture, Japanese anime. You can probably see this shirt is actually a Studio Ghibli shirt showing a lot of the characters from a lot of their famous films in a Wizard of Oz type setting. And so kind of that thing going on. I'm a nerd. I love this stuff. But taking that and figuring out also that I enjoy teaching. I really enjoyed teaching with the JET program a lot more than I thought I would. And boiling it down. So why is it that I love foreign cultures, especially Japanese culture, and love teaching? How does that all connect? How does that all boil down? And I realized that my fundamental passion, my why, is helping people see things from a new or different perspective. And I can actually go into a story about a professor during college. He was a former Soviet diplomat, and he talked about we see things through lenses, and kind of removing those lenses and seeing things from our the other people we're negotiating with from their perspective, through their lens, and learning how to do that, swap those lenses out and everything like that. And I realized that really resonated with me, and so that became, or I realized that has become my passion, my why. And so when I have been moving forward into the field and career that I really want to go into, a lot of times I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to spend the time and the effort today to get this done. But taking a root back in my passion has helped me to overcome that hesitation, but also getting in front of people and talking about things that I'm not necessarily an expert in, things like that. I have a lot of fear that comes up, but I can use my passion, my realization that yes, I really want to help people see things from a new perspective or come at something from a different angle. And so able to use that passion to overcome my fear and overcome my hesitation. So that's kind of a connection point here. But Ransom, did you want to talk more or say anything else about that?
No, I just tell people out there, this is a great example. And this is what we provide in Oola. Now we're going to talk about more accelerators and blockers. And that's the reason it's designed. So we didn't want to be a program that just pointed out, well, you've got all these negative things in your way. Part of my philosophy as an electrician was there's no problem. There's only solutions. Because there's no benefit just to focus on the problem. As an electrician, had to solve it. we had to come to resolution. There has to be. But that's what we do in Oola. We don't just leave you with this problem that may be keeping you from it.
Right.
We provide you with a way out of it. Now, out there, if you find yourself being stuck, you don't know how to move past this, or you're not the best at keeping yourself accountable, that's why having somebody like us or using the new Oola app or e-learning platform is a great way to get unstuck and get moving on. So we're here to, as we say, seek new challenges, make bold choices. But guys, we got to keep it balanced. And that's part of what we do. So that's what I would say, David. That's really
Yep.
what I want to leave the people with.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So that's where we're going to end it today. And now we're going to transition to the end. And that's it this time. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to tap that like button, smash that subscribe button, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. We'll be back next week with the next blocker, envy, and the next accelerator, love. So be sure to check it out. Until next time, remember to seek new challenges, make bold choices, and keep it balanced. Cheers.